The OTC versus draw debate gets treated like a values question in most hunting circles. OTC hunters are pragmatists. Draw hunters are purists. Both sides have their loudest advocates, and the conversation rarely gets past the sentiment. Strip the identity out of it, and the decision is actually a math problem with a few variables specific to your situation. The right answer isn't OTC or draw. It's which one makes the better use of your current position, your points, your timeline, and what the ground actually looks like right now. Most hunters who default to OTC aren't doing the full accounting. First, the point year. This is the cost item most commonly overstated. Hunting OTC does not automatically cost you a point year in your draw states. In most Western states, OTC hunting and point accumulation run in parallel, not in sequence. Nevada allows bonus point purchases without applying for a hunt. Arizona's point-only option works the same way. Wyoming non-residents can hold a general license tag and still apply for draws with preference points. The real cost is failing to run both tracks at once, hunting OTC while letting your draw applications lapse. That's a choice, not a structural constraint. Second, the pressure differential. OTC ground and draw ground are not the same ground. OTC units absorb every hunter who couldn't draw or didn't try. The animals that survive OTC pressure year after year are not the same animals that live in low-pressure draw units. That's not a romantic argument, it's a biological reality. Third, the assumption about OTC availability. Western OTC hunting is contracting, not expanding. Idaho moved non-resident deer and elk to a draw system in 2026. Colorado eliminated non-resident OTC archery elk in 2025. If you've been counting on a specific OTC option being there, update that assumption. The other side of the ledger gets less attention because hunters tend to romanticize draw tags rather than cost them honestly. In most preference point states, drawing a tag resets your point total to 0 for that species. 8 years of building, gone in one season. The tag was worth the wait, but the reset is real, and the decision to burn should account for how many years of reaccumulation it implies. There's also the opportunity cost of locking into one unit. Burning points on the wrong unit is a compounding mistake. You spent the points, you hunted something you were ambivalent about, and now you're starting over. And the weight of the high expectation hunt is real. A decade of waiting carries psychological weight that a general season doesn't. That's not an argument against drawing. It's an argument for making sure the unit you burn on is the one you actually want. Once you've done the honest accounting on both sides, the decision usually comes down to 5 questions. 1. How far are you from your draw floor, and is the gap closing? Pull the last 3 years of draw data. If you're accumulating faster than the floor is rising, bank another year. If the floor is moving faster than you can close it, you may be on a treadmill that never resolves. An OTC season while you reassess the target is a reasonable pivot. 2. What does the OTC alternative actually look like on the ground? Be specific, not Colorado OTC elk as an abstract concept. Which unit, which season, what the access looks like, what the success rates have been. An honest look at the OTC ground changes the math in ways the label doesn't. 3. Does your state's draw system offer a random pool you're not using? Wyoming, Utah, Arizona, and Nevada all have random components that carry real odds regardless of your point total. Before defaulting to OTC, check whether you're leaving random draw odds on the table by not applying. 4. What is your realistic hunting timeline? A hunter with 20 seasons ahead has a different calculus than one with 8. If your window is shorter, the urgency to draw shifts the math. 5. Is there a species-specific case for OTC that doesn't apply to your draw target? Colorado still offers non-resident OTC rifle elk in general seasons. OTC mule deer is a more limited proposition. The best units are draw only. Match the species to the actual current OTC landscape before treating it as a universal alternative. Percival knew two miners who worked adjacent ground in the same drainage. One staked the placer claim: easy access, consistent color, reliable return every season. The other staked the hard rock vein up the ridge, harder to work, required patience and capital. But the assay report showed it went deep. Both men made money. Neither was wrong about the ground they chose. What separated the good miners from the great ones wasn't which claim they staked. It was whether they knew why they staked it. The man working the placer because it kept him fed and funded while the hard rock investment matured. That was strategy. The man working the placer because he was afraid to commit to the vein, or because he'd never bothered to run the assay. That was drift. OTC hunting is the placer claim. The draw game is the vein up the ridge. The question isn't which one is better. It's which one you're running deliberately and which one you're running by default. There's one scenario where the framework collapses into a simple answer. You are at or within 1 point of the draw floor. The floor has been stable for 2 or more years. The unit produces what you're actually after. There's no OTC alternative that delivers a comparable experience for this species in this geography. In this scenario, carrying points another year is not patience, it's hesitation. The analysis is done, pull the trigger on the application. The 5-question framework only works if you have real draw data behind it. At the Tag Prospector, our reports show your actual odds at your current point level, the number that tells you whether burning points now is the right call or whether another year of accumulation changes the math. $9.99. No subscription, no login, straight to your inbox. Know the ground before you choose the path. Dig deep, partner. Find your vein. thetagprospector.com.